Sherry, first and foremost, is from the southernmost part of Spain. It is going to be the hottest region of Spain, Jerez. What's good to note about sherry is a lot of things comes in both threes and twos. I'll start with the threes. First and foremost, the three grapes of sherry are going to be white varietals. They're going to be Palomino, which makes up about 90 to 95% of most of sherry's. Then you're also going to have Muscatel as well as Pedro Jimenez. Those are the three noble grapes of sherry. In regards to another three, it's important to remember in regards to sherry, it's going to be three different types of soil types. Albariza, which is going to be more of a chalky, pale white stone, is particularly regarded as being the best soils for sherry. Then you also have Barisa as well as Arenas. In addition, another three, it's important to know in regards to sherry, are three different places for shipping or ex-production. It's kind of known as the Golden Triangle of sherry. There are many different towns that produce sherry, but if you're going to remember three of them, only remember these three. It's Jerez de Frontera, it is Sanlúcar de Barrameda, as well as El Puerto de Santa Maria. In regards to the fermentation of sherry, there's two different processes that it goes through. First, it goes through a tumultuous or heated stage where it burns off a lot of the sugars in the grapes, which is going to eventually lead it down to its next path. And then as it goes away from the heat, the sherry actually goes into a lenta or slow fermentation, which does the final killing of all the natural sugars. The final product in sherry is going to be anywhere between 11 to 12% alcohol by volume, and then from there is when it goes on to more of the defined roles of sherry. Two different paths the sherry can take. It's going to be a palo or a gordura. Now the palo style is going to be a biological style, versus the Garuda is going to be more of an oxidative style. And to explain the two further, the biological style is where the sherry is going to be fortified from about 11 to 12 to about 15%. Now at this particular 15% alcohol level, when you mix in certain temperatures, and particularly because the grape is harvested in the fall time, when you mix a humid air with about 60 to 70 degrees temperatures, in addition to a 15% alcohol by volume, the sherry will actually create a Saccharomyces known as floor, or a film. And if, for example, you have the sherry sitting in a cask, the floor will actually rest on top. It's a nice white film, which is actually going to protect it from oxidating the sherry, or it's just a natural protectant. I believe it initially translates to flour. And that will go under a separate different categorization, but for the time being, the other style of the Gordura or the will lead to, or the oxidative style will actually lead to more of an Oloroso style sherry, which will be fortified to roughly around 17 to 18, where the floor cannot grow naturally. Now, in regards to the Palo style, or the biological method, there's, again, it will be classified again after a period of resting, or the sobretable period. The sobretables period usually lasts between 6 months to a year, and in that particular time, the sherry will actually be classified again. Now, there's different ranges where the sherry can go. I believe there are 5 different types of classifications under which floor is present. In regards to the biological aging of sherry, there are 5 different ways the wine can be classified once it's been labeled, or once it's destined for biological versus oxidative aging. In regards to biological aging, there are 5 different styles the sherry can end up as. The first and foremost is going to be a Pala style. It's going to be the lightest, most delicate style of sherry. This is where the floor or the film on top of the sherry protecting it is flourishing. This is going to be the lightest and definitely the most delicate style of sherry you'll find. Moving on, we have a Palma Cortada, which can lead to a little bit more of an Amontillado style, and I'll explain more of these as we go. But this is going to be a little bit more of a richer style. The floor is still present, but it's not as intact as it will be for Palma. The third style of sherry is a very, very rare style of sherry, and it's going to be the Palo Cortado. Palo Cortado wines are where it has the wonderful aroma and bouquet of an Amontillado or a Palma Cortado style. However, the vintner feels like it's going to be destined to be better in an Oloroso style or a richer style. And in that case, the winemaker will actually fortify the wine again above the 15% threshold, which is where floor really thrives, and raises it to about 17 to 18%. And in that case, the wine will have reminiscence of a floor-styled wine, but at the same time will have the richness of an oxidative style of wine. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. The fourth style is going to be a Reyes. The Reyes style of wine is very similar to a Palo Cortado, but it's not going to have the delicacy of the Palma. But it will, in this case, the floor has actually become anemic or arrested, it won't grow. So the vintner will actually make the choice to do it in an oxidative style, but only because the floor hasn't flourished, like in, for example, the Palma or the Palo Cortado style. So in this case, the winemaker will fortify it, but for a different reason, not because it can have the best of both worlds, but because it's destined to become a better, more Oloroso style of sherry. Now the fifth style is going to be a Dos Reyes, and that is when the floor has just disappeared. The wine did not accept all the variables that make up the floor. So in essence, it is destined for an Oloroso style. The winemaker will fortify it again to that 17 to 18%, and have it be either an Oloroso style if it can make it, but usually by that time the sherry has, I don't want to necessarily say faded, but not become its best product. So a lot of the times this is where you'll find cooking sherries or sherry vinegars, things of that nature.